We have developed speed, but we have shut ourselves in. Machinery that gives abundance has left us in want. We think too much and feel too little. More than machinery, we need humanity.
We know the air is unfit to breathe and our food is unfit to eat. As if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy.
Silence! The great and powerful Oz knows why you have come.
You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it! My life has value.
You have meddled with the primal forces of nature.
Don't give yourselves to brutes, men who despise you, enslave you, who regiment your lives, tell you what to do, what to think, or what to feel, who drill you, diet you, treat you like cattle, use you as cannon fodder. Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men with machine minds and machine hearts.
It's time to buckle up for Making Sense of the Madness.
And who loves you? And who do you love?
Hey everybody, Jason Bermas here, and it is official. Silver has gone over the $60 an ounce mark, officially making that the highest it has ever been, and the first time it has actually crossed that barrier. Now, I want to be the first to admit right here, right now, that silver obviously in 1980, when it was around $50, retained more value. If you adjust that for inflation, depending, you're getting somewhere between the $170 and $200 an ounce range. Now, the mainstream media, academia will tell you that it was pumped up. It should have never been there. But I'm here to tell you that in actuality, I think that the price of silver especially has been extremely restrictive and rigged in many cases, as it is still a precious metal. And throughout millennia, just like gold, it has been utilized as money. Okay, and gold, also, we're going to talk about that today, is at all-time highs. There's a bit of a dip since October from that massive all-time high, but I think it's only about $250 maybe lower than that, and well on its way. Forget about $3,000 gold that they said was never coming, or $4,000 gold. In my opinion, and I'm not giving you financial advice, I think it is going to hit that 5K marker in rapid fashion. I think that all you'll need is the right event and the right investments, and you're going to see gold also explode. But the question is, how far is silver going, and what does it really mean? Because when we talk about these precious metals, I often say this. Look, number one, there's a lot of gold and silver dealers out there. Okay, there's a lot of those out there that don't even really sell you gold or silver. They'll sell you certificates. And of course, you can play the stock market on either, which many, many people do. But what is the reality behind physical gold and physical silver, and what will the value be in short order? And I'm a huge proponent on physically holding any of your assets, especially when we're talking about precious metals. Now, I know in the cryptoverse, there's no way to really hold on to that Ethereum or hold on to that Bitcoin, right? And those are just the two biggest ones. Plenty of other crypto out there. But when you look at the movement of BTC and crypto in general over the last year, it has not performed well against gold. Gold has been the superior investment. And I know there's a lot of the new school libertarians, people that are freedom-minded, that don't necessarily love hearing that, but that's reality. And quite frankly, that space had a lot of the precious metal people, the gold bugs in it, prior to cryptocurrency. And here's the big thing. Cryptocurrency is moving us away from a physical monetary realm, which gold is entrenched in, and towards a digital realm. So I don't expect, Bitcoin to bottom out like to zero. I think it actually could go much lower because there's plenty of pump and dumps with whales there. But overall and eventually, they want you on a digital ID. They want you on a digital currency. In fact, right now, aside from the penny going by the wayside, bye-bye penny. Okay, remember, pennies used to also be a semi-precious metal made of copper, dunzo. Okay, that's done. But the Federal Reserve is now talking about no more physical checks. They're saying fraud, fraud, fraud. If we make everything digital, there'll be no fraud. Whether that's Social Security payments or other types of entitlement programs. And I'm here to tell you, the more we turn to digital, unfortunately, the more we cut our own throats. Because right here, I got myself a 1957 quarter. I'm going to show you the value of this in a while. But this, not so long ago in this country, was physical, real money. This is marked in 1957, okay? Now, when I tell you the value of that quarter, remember that was 25 cents then, that should give you a pretty good idea of inflation and how much your purchasing power has plummeted since the implementation of a fractional reserve banking system under an unaccountable organization that is not really even part of our government and instead a private institution. So we're going to go over just the numbers really quick. I got a couple videos I want to show you, and you can make your own decisions. Again, we're not selling you anything here. I'm not selling you silver. I'm not selling you gold. I'm acknowledging that it wasn't so long ago people said that silver wasn't going to be able to break $50. Broke it. Now it's broken $60. For years, I've heard rumblings of 3-digit silver, some people going as high as $200+. I don't necessarily think we'll get there in short order, but I certainly think that $200 an ounce silver is no longer out of the realm of possibility. Let's leave it at that for right now. Let's thumbs it up, subscribe, share, ring that bell, check out all the documentary films for free. And folks, I can't do it without you. I know it's the holiday season. I know that a lot of people out there are struggling, but I got to make it clear there are no paychecks. Let me repeat that. No paychecks. I don't have any more paid gigs. I'm not out there doing interviews for other independent media operations. In fact, how many real independent media operations are really out there? Unfortunately, the indie media, at least now that is acknowledged, is just an extension of mainline Trump conservatism. And I wish it was not that way, but it certainly seems to be that way. And then you have the other side of the pond, and a lot of that stuff is now celebrity-driven or influencer-driven. So I can't even really call it media per se, because, you still have the Democracy Nows of the world, but that's just mainly Amy Goodman, right? That's not a huge operation. I'd say if you were towards that quote-unquote liberal perspective, the only thing decent out there is like the Gray Zone, right? And I certainly have my issues with them, but that's why we go to a lot of mainstream media sources here. Then we give you the raw information. You use discernment. So if you appreciate independent media, truly independent media, $5, $10, $15, it absolutely means the world to me. I've also got the PayPal down below. You're seeing it scrolling right now. jasonisvoid@yahoo.com. $5, $10, $15, big donors. Thank you. Thank you. You're keeping Christmas alive out here in the Quad Cities. I can assure you of that. I want to thank Marigold Resources for supporting the broadcast, buying and selling a business. Go check them out. They'll give you some help. And, of course, rcreader.com, the River City Reader. Always some really well thought out pieces here from a truly independent media source. That's probably why you haven't heard of them other than on this show. So let's hit it right now. $60.67. We are looking at it. We are at the high. Now, what you're looking at is over the last year. Okay? So let's go to the low during the year. So in April, right here, we were down just below $30. We're in the $28 range. Okay? So since April, we're talking a little over 7 months, it has more than doubled. Now, another thing about these metals is they are utilized in technology. They are utilized in what? Processors, motherboards, electronics. You understand? I don't think that's a coincidence. I think that's part of the reason that these are starting to go up and up and up because, again, that's going to put us further out of reach of technology as just regular consumers. And as I showed you right here, let's make it just a little bit smaller. I guess we can't really do that. We'll do it like this. But that quarter I showed you, because it is pre-1965 to 1970, where they're only about 40% silver. This is 90% silver. And like I was telling you, it's selling in the $10 to $11 range. So let's just take the $10 range, even though it's closer to $11 right now. Okay, I want people to think about this for a second. That means in 1957, this thing, 25 cents, okay, has been stripped of 1/40th its value. I mean, do the math. 4 quarters in a dollar, $10. 10 times 4. And I know this is tough for some people, not my audience. I know we all have third grade educations here. 40 big ones, right? Or that would be $10. I'm sorry. 4 times 10, $10. That's where we're at. Okay? That in about, less than 75 years? How about that? And no one even talks about the idea of gold and silver as money anymore. They need to start talking about it that way. Gold prices right now, $4,200. But as I said, $4,375. So yeah, just a little under 200 of the initial peak. But you go back, all right? And we'll go back to December. Okay, we weren't even at 3. We were at 2,600. So I think there's a good chance that gold will double. From that point, I think in the next few months we could see, yes, $5,000 gold. Now, quickly, before we go to a couple videos here, let's take a look at it. Bitcoin, okay, 92,724. Now, if you look at that and you go back 1 year, right around here, we were at 106. Okay, now even up here, right, we got to 126, which is crazy to me. But again, I think Bitcoin overall, it's only going to go up. But people saw that. This was all the way back in October, but the dip has been vicious, down to 92,000. So really, the 1 year turnaround has been negatory. Bitcoin a little bit more volatile, but a big high over here in October. Again, I expect it to go up. These are the Bitcoin cycles, but it also shows you that physical money is still in the playing field. And look, I get it. You can't just turn it into liquid. You can't walk into your store with it. If you're trying to resell it to a dealer, no one gives you spot price. If you're going to sell it spot, you have to find somebody willing to buy at spot. It has to be a person-to-person transaction, period. I mean, that's just the way of the world. And quite frankly, if you use like a third-party seller, like an eBay or a Mercari or any of these other things, you're also paying fees on it as well. And so you got to factor that in with everything else. That being said, I generally agree with this take on silver.
Now, you've gone on the record in the past as saying you expect triple-digit silver at some point. We're halfway there. Does your thesis still stand?
I'm more bullish than ever. I came up with that phrase in 2012, I believe it was, and I see other people now copying it. I've seen some targets that are actually quite high, much higher than I've ever imagined. But yeah, I think we're going to be there. I think it's hard to predict metal prices, of course, but it looks like we're going to end new highs probably 2025, I would expect. And we'll see new highs again in 2026, when the triple-digit silver prediction actually occurs. When I'm pushed, I say 2030. But who knows? We don't have a crystal ball, but I think its destiny is going to happen. With the supply-demand fundamentals in silver as strong as they currently are, metal prices have to go higher.
So let me just stop him right there. I honestly believe we're going to see, and again, I could be wrong. I'm certainly not a super expert in this field, but I am watching the patterns, the trends. I am watching the movement away from physical currency wherever they can do it. I also am seeing the movement towards digital ID. I think it's well before 2030 that we see $100 silver. I really, really do. And again, we're a long way off at $60 to 100. But if I were him, I probably would have said 2028. Right? I know we're in 2026, but I don't think, that it's going to take over the next 2 years. I really, really doubt that. But again, I could be wrong. I get things wrong. Far from perfect over here. Okay? Want to make that extremely clear. Now, I just want to play this next clip of an individual talking about gold as money historically, because I think that he is also spot on this one. So let's play that. Well,
for around 5,000 years, gold has been money. And it's really the only money that has survived in history. But during those 5,000 years, a lot of people have tried to fabricate money in various forms. There have been alchemists and there have been money printers. And here in front of me, you can see one way of making gold. You see gold bars here, and you see a man holding another man who's inside here. I often ask people what actually is happening there. Is this people turning into gold, or is it gold going in and people coming out? You can have your own interpretation of this, but this is clearly not real gold. And so far, no one has devised a method to make real gold. And this is why gold is so unique, because it's nature's money, and that's why the only money that has lasted in history. At times, silver has also been money, of course, but gold has outlasted every other form of money. Obviously, since the creation of central banks, especially since the beginning of the 1900s when the Fed was created, now we started making paper gold in the form of paper money. And that has now escalated to a size which the world cannot cope with. We're talking about hundreds of trillions of debt and quadrillions of derivatives and other liabilities, which is going to end one day in disaster because the world cannot repay that amount of money. So therefore, it's absolutely only one unique currency in the world, which is gold itself, also assisted by silver at certain times. Therefore, the only money that can't be printed. And if you can't print it, you can't borrow unlimited amounts of money either, because it has to be backed by gold. We are at the period now when gold is going up faster than ever. In this century only, it's gone from just $300 to over $4,000 today. And we're now getting into a phase when it's going to move by multiples. That's not because just gold is going up, it's because paper money is losing its value faster than ever because of the amount of debt that is created. Think about fake gold, don't think about paper assets, think about protecting your wealth in real gold and some silver, and keep it outside the banking system. In the next crisis, which is imminent, the banking system is not going to survive in its present form. And this is why gold is such a crucial part of preserving your wealth. Obviously, you have to hold the gold outside the banking system in physical form, and you have to have direct access to it yourself. That is the only genuine form of preserving wealth.
Spot on. I think there's big revamps coming with the banking system. I think gold is a very good investment at this point, right? And the other thing that goes along with that is that you physically have to have it. Now, look, I know there are some people out there that are going to say, hey, remember when the government went door to door and took people's gold? I don't think that flies in this country ever, 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 ever again. So take this information as you will. I just wanted to point it out. I mean, we hit a big marker with silver at $60 an ounce. I think it's only on its way up. I do think we'll probably see a drop to under 50 at some point, but then in short order, possibly going to 75. Again, I could be wrong, but we're definitely reporting on something that, again, the mainstream doesn't seem to be interested in. They haven't really talked about the explosion of gold and silver. Wonder why that is. Folks, I need your support. Cannot do it without you. You know the drill. You like what I do? Donate $5, $10, $15. It absolutely means the world to me. It keeps this ship afloat. We're going to be doing another watch along with one of my YouTube banned video archive vids later on this evening. Like I said, we're going through that whole catalog of stuff that used to be banned on YouTube but no longer is. And by the way, you know, we're growing slowly but surely. We hit that 75K marker here on YouTube. As soon as the growth in YouTube started, the degrowth started happening on X. I just, you know, everybody acts like X is free speech, man. No, certainly not. Certainly not free speech. I don't know that it's much better than YouTube at this point. It feels very, very similar. I mean, really, really similar at this point in the fact that, first of all, despite the fact I have like 40, what is it? I think it's 47,000 followers. There's no chance of my monetization because I'm so shadow banned and my analytics are awful. And when you look at an account half that size, it's got 5 to 10 times as more traction. And I don't know any way to fix that. So, hey, we're using the tools that we have to bring people the information that I think they need, because it is not about left or right. It is always about right and wrong. I want to thank you again, Bermas Brigade, because I love you so much and I couldn't do it without you. And I will see you all on the flip side.